So we have finished with the uh, rotational spectroscopy, rotational and vibrational spectroscopy. And there we have seen some numericals, and we have obtained certain mathematical formulas there for the various energy changes, and we have also seen some selection rules. Now we'll apply this knowledge of our rotational motion as well as vibrational motion to the some real molecules. Like first we will apply that for the water molecule. So we will see what is the structure of water molecule. So previously only we have determined the shape of water molecule. So based upon the dipole moment volume, what we have observed that, so water molecule is having some dipole moment value, okay, around 1.5, okay, d by. So this water molecule is having certain d by value, d by dipole moment value. So what we have concluded there based upon this dipole moment value, so based upon this dipole moment value we can say that the molecule, which is what water molecule, is not a linear one but it is a bent one, okay. So it has some bent structure. So that we have concluded based upon the dipole moments value that we have obtained for the dipole moment measurement, okay. So during the introduction part only we have seen this, that the water structure of water molecule is uh, bent one, okay. Now we know that this water molecule is, again we can say that it is a non-linear triatomic molecule with the bent structure. And the for bent structure we know that the means for non-linear structure the number of vibrational modes is given by what, 3n minus 6, that is 3n minus 6, where n is what, n is the total number of atoms that are present in the given molecule. So here n is what, 3. So 3 into 3 minus 6, which is 3 set. So we can say that the water molecule will show the three modes of vibrations, and these three modes of vibrations are, out of the three modes of vibration, two are being the stretching and one is being the bending vibration. So again we have seen that the stretching as well as bending vibrations are of various types. So stretching might be symmetric one, asymmetric one. Bending might be in plane, out of plane, and again scissoring, rocking, wagging, twisting. Likewise various types are there for the bending also. So we have seen all the types and what do you mean by that, symmetric stretching, and what do you mean by asymmetric stretching. So likewise in water we are going to get the two types of stretching type of vibration and one bending vibration. And there we have seen that the intensity for the stretching vibration, or the energy for stretching vibration, is more as compared with the energy for the bending vibration. So based upon this previous knowledge we can say that the obtained values, which are having three values like 1, 2 and 3 values, so all the vibrations which are involved in this water molecule will result into change in its dipole moment, and hence the all the three modes of this water molecules are IR active, okay. So sometime you might be asked about how many modes of this water molecule are IR active. So all the three modes of water molecules are IR active, because in all of these three modes of vibrations the dipole moment values for the given molecule will changes. So experimentally we have certain values, that is OH bond in water molecule is having bond distance of 0.96 into 10 raised to minus 10 meter, or simply 0.96 angstrom unit, and the bond angle is 104.5, okay. So these are the experimental observations, and based upon the dipole moment values and modes of vibrations in the given molecule, we have predicted that there are three modes, two stretching mode and one bending mode. And out of that two stretching mode, one is the symmetrical one having the little bit lower frequency, and asymmetrical stretching having the highest frequency of stretching, and bending, it is having the lowest frequency, okay. So next structure is the water, we have seen water molecule. Now next is the carbon dioxide. So structure of carbon dioxide, we know that this, based upon the dipole moment value, it has linear structure and it is triatomic molecule, and therefore we should apply which formula, 3n minus 5, okay, 3n minus 5. So what is n is the total number of atoms in the given molecule. So 3n minus 5 is how much, that is 3 into 5 minus 5, which is comes out to be 4. So in total there are 4 modes of vibration in the given CO2 molecule. So one is being the symmetrical stretching, and another one is being the asymmetrical stretching, and another two types are the bending modes of vibration. Okay, so symmetrical stretching, does it involve the dipole moment change value? So yes, it will involve some change in the dipole moment. And these two bending modes here in diagram also you can see this here. Okay, these two modes of bending also are degenerated, means they are having the same energy. So one is having like perpendicular to the plane of this molecular plane, and another one is slightly tilted one. So both of these bending motions are having the degenerated energy, that is around 667 centimeter inverse, and one is the symmetrical stretching and another one is the unsymmetrical stretching. Now the stretching and the bendings are the two types of vibrations. So the two bending vibrations which is having the same frequency, and therefore they are said to be what? Energy degenerated. Now the symmetrical stretching mode, which involve no dipole moment change, so it is what? IR inactive, and shows no absorption of the energy in the IR mode. So the energy which we have obtained here is like it is IR inactive molecule. Okay, due to no change in the dipole moment for the symmetrical stretching. Okay, so we can say that one mode of CO2 is IR inactive, and which is that mode? Which is the symmetrical stretching. So due to the symmetrical stretching there is no dipole moment change, and hence there is no any sort of IR absorption will takes place. And next is what? The asymmetrical stretching mode, which involve the variation of length of bond, and hence it will having the change in its dipole moment, and therefore we can say that it is IR active mode. The bending mode, which involve the variation of bond angle and so the change in dipole moment, which shows the absorption of energy. So the value V bar 1 and V bar 2, which are greater than that of the V bar 3, because the bending energy will require what? Less energy than that of the stretching one. So all these observations are similar that we have observed for the water molecule, but here the symmetrical stretching for the carbon dioxide molecule is showing no IR band. Why is it so? Because it is having zero dipole moment, and also during the vibration also the dipole moment is not changing, its overall value is zero, net dipole moment is zero. So we can simply say that its mode is symmetrical stretching mode of CO2 is IR inactive. Now next is the IR spectrum. So we have seen the rotational spectrum, we have seen the vibrational spectrum. Now we will see the infrared spectrum. Okay, so and infrared spectrum is quite fascinating one. Why is it so? Because the whatever the frequency that we are getting for a particular functional group, it will having the certain specific value. So based upon the specific values for the IR, we can predict the functional group present in the given molecule. Okay, so we are having some molecular formula for the given molecule. So based upon the molecular formula, we can predict the functional group. So in NMR spectroscopy as well as IR spectroscopy and U visual spectroscopy, you might be having the certain range of values, and you will predict the structure for that molecule based upon that values. And this infrared spectrum will gives you the idea about what? Functional group. So sometime you might be asked about the uses of various spectroscopic methods. So in IR spectroscopy we are getting the knowledge of about functional group in the given molecule. Okay, now the energy absorption pattern in the infrared region is obtained by what? Plotting of percentage transmittance of infrared radiations as a function of wave number over the required range. So for the purpose of studying the spectra, the infrared region of the electromagnetic spectrum is divided into three parts. So one is the near infrared, so it will showing the overtone regions. For middle infrared we are having the fundamental or basic region. Then within that middle region we are having the functional group region, and another one is the fingerprint region. Okay, so these two regions are quite important. So functional group region is gives you the idea about the uh, functional group present in the given molecule, and this fingerprint region means that for 400 to 900 centimeter inverse, it is quite specific for the specific functional group. So due to this fingerprint region only, we get to know the exact knowledge of functional group present in the given molecule. Okay, so this middle infrared region, that is the fundamental mode of vibrational frequencies, is the most important part, and it ranges from what 400 to 4000 to the 900 centimeter inverse. So this is the most important region for the IR spectroscopy. And this far infrared region is what it will shows the pure rotational region. So we can say that it is somewhat near to the microwave region, that is 50 centimeter inverse. So here we see that the middle infrared region, which is extending from 4000 centimeter inverse to specifically 67 centimeter inverse, and the vibrational rotation transition which are taking place in this radiations, or in this range of radiations, the region is either side of the above region, which is known as a near infrared region, and far infrared region on the right hand side, which will show you what the pure rotational spectrum. Now the near the infrared region, which exhibit the overtone of fundamental band, and far infrared region which shows the spectral line due to the what pure rotational line. So this inspection of the group frequencies and the fingerprint region of the given infrared spectrum will provide the rapid method for the identification of compound. Okay, so based upon this we can exactly find out the which functional groups are present in the given molecule. So we are having the some table or experimental values based upon the various absorption frequencies for the various functional group. Now, so for that we will call it as a group frequency. So polyatomic molecule which is made up of the different atom which are joined together by the different types of bonds, which is giving rise to total group. So in group we are having the various types of atoms which are bonded together in the specific manner. So each group which is having the definite reduced mass and its definite force constant. So the normal or fundamental mode of vibration is arising due to the vibration of this atom which are held together due to the chemical bond in the group, will shows the vibrational frequency in this functional group region, that is 4000 centimeter inverse to the 1400 centimeter inverse, and the absorption frequencies are characteristic of the given group, and it is known as what the group frequency. So these group frequencies are quite important one. So the absorption of these IR radiations characteristic of the particular group, which shows the presence of that particular group in the given molecule, and it will not absorb the other radiations than that of the its characteristic frequency. So we can say that the groups like CH3OH or CN will absorb above 1400 centimeter, whereas the group in the heavy metal like carbon chloride or carbon iodide, which shows the low frequency value due to what, due to the higher masses. Reduced mass is quite high, so we know that the frequency is inversely related with what, the reduced mass. So we are having some specific values for the various functional group. So we know that this aliphatic carbon hydrogen stretching is around what, 2700 to 300 3000, and 10 raised to minus 2 is what, for meter inverse, and you might be like given the readings in the centimeter inverse. So in centimeter inverse this 10 raised to 2 will not come, but if it is in the for meter inverse, then you should incorporate this 10 raised to 2 power. So for aromatic it is around 3000 to 1300 centimeter inverse. For CO it is 1000 to 1050 centimeter inverse. So likewise we are having the various stretching frequencies. So these values are quite known to us, so because we have seen this for the spectroscopic data, like in organic chemistry we use this spectroscopic data for the solving various spectras that we have obtained in the NMR problem or some IR problem. Okay, so you might use this values in the combined spectroscopy. Okay, so next important thing is the, what do you mean by this fingerprint region? Okay, so the spectral region which is ranging from 1400 to 900 centimeter inverse is reaching in the number of absorption band. So these absorption bands which are their intensities are quite typical for the molecular structure under study. So slight change in the structure which produces the remarkable change in the pattern of absorption for the given molecule. So we can say that the part of spectrum which is the characteristic for the given compound, and it is called as a fingerprint region. So no two different compound which shows some absorption spectrum in the fingerprint region. So we have finished with the various spectroscopic, that rotational, vibrational, and vibrational spectroscopy. Now we have been left with only this Raman spectroscopic method. So Raman spectroscopy is again extension of this IR spectroscopy, we can see that, but it is a scattering spectroscopy, and it uses visible radiations. Okay, so we will see this Raman spectroscopy in the upcoming lectures. Okay.